All right, welcome in everyone to another deep dive. Today we're going deep into the world of financial services. And well, it's kind of crazy how much AI and automation are taking over.
Yeah, it's funny. We always hear about Silicon Valley being like the hub of disruption, but the financial sector is changing just as fast, maybe even faster.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And it's not just about, keeping up with the latest gadgets. They're facing some serious challenges,
Yeah.
challenges that affect everyone.
Okay, so paint a picture for me. What are the big scary monsters under the financial bed?
Well, first off, data breaches,
Mm.
right? Like a constant nightmare. We're talking almost $6 million per breach on average.
Whoa, 6 million. That's a lot of money. And I mean, that's not even considering the damage to like a company's reputation.
Exactly. Yeah, the trust is gone. And on top of that, the regulations they're always changing. So you've got these institutions drowning in paperwork just to stay compliant.
So they're fighting off hackers buried in paperwork, and they're supposed to be giving us like a smooth, enjoyable experience.
Right. It's a tough act to balance. Plus, you throw in the online fraud, which is getting more sophisticated.
Right.
Well, billions are lost globally each year. The old ways of catching it just don't work anymore.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy to think someone could be emptying your account right now and you wouldn't have a clue.
It really is. And then you add in, well, everyone wants things personalized these days, right? Studies show most people feel like banks see them as just numbers, not people. They want that individual touch, but institutions just aren't delivering.
So it's like this perfect storm of threats, red tape, and unmet expectations. How does Salesforce even begin to tackle all that?
Well, Salesforce is coming in with this powerful combo, AI and automation.
Hmm.
You can think of it as like a one-stop shop to revamp everything and face those challenges head on.
Okay, I'm starting to see the appeal here. Let's break it down. What's Salesforce's secret weapon? Where do they really excel?
Well, first off, data protection. Salesforce Shield. It's like a digital fortress surrounding all that sensitive information. Encryption, real-time threat detection using AI, you name it.
Okay, so it's not just like a static wall, right? It's actively using AI to predict and block threats. That's pretty impressive. But how does it actually work in the real world?
dtcforce. We specialize in Salesforce solutions. We helped a credit union, a regional one, implement Salesforce Shield, and guess what?
What?
40% reduction in data breaches.
Wow, 40%. That's huge. So what was the secret?
One of the coolest things about Salesforce Shield is that it learns. The AI is always watching the data, finding patterns, flagging anything fishy, like having a security guard who can see into the future.
So it's not about reacting after the fact. It's about stopping it before it even happens.
You got it. Now let's switch gears a bit. Compliance. Ugh, a nightmare, right? But Salesforce Financial Services Cloud, FSC, they're changing the game. It takes all those complicated compliance workflows and automates, well, a lot of the manual stuff that used to bog things down.
Less paperwork. Tell me more.
Right. And it even uses AI to scan for regulatory updates and then bam, adjusts the workflows to match.
Yeah.
So instead of scrambling to catch up, it's all proactive and streamlined.
That sounds like a dream come true for anyone who's ever, dealt with the whole compliance mess. But what about, we keep hearing about AI-powered fraud detection. How does it actually work? Like nuts and bolts.
That's where Salesforce Einstein comes in. It's got these really sophisticated algorithms analyzing every transaction in real time, hunting for patterns that scream fraud.
So like a digital detective, always on the lookout. What kind of patterns would it be looking for? Like red flags.
Imagine, say, someone suddenly starts spending a ton of money, way outside their normal habits. Einstein would spot that, instantly flag it for review before any real damage is done. It's a whole different level of proactive protection.
That's amazing. And it's not just about protecting money, right? It's about peace of mind too, knowing you're safe.
Exactly. So now let's talk about, well, what does all this mean for the average person? How does it make their life better?
Yeah, that's what I'm most interested in. How can all this tech actually make my life as a customer, easier, less stressful?
Well, imagine applying for a loan and getting an answer. Not in weeks, but days. That's the power of automation with Salesforce. They use this thing called RPA, Robotic Process Automation. It handles all the boring stuff, like collecting documents, so approvals are way faster.
So RPA is like having a robot assistant to deal with all the paperwork. How much faster are we talking, really?
We helped a regional bank set up RPA with Salesforce, and they went from 3 weeks for loan approvals down to 3 days.
No way. 3 days. That's a game changer. Who wants to wait weeks for anything these days? But what about, we talked about personalization. Can AI really make banking feel less robotic and more human?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Salesforce Einstein, it watches how customers behave, then uses that info to customize offers and, the whole experience. So no more generic loan offers. You get one that's actually tailored to your situation, your goals.
That's what I'm talking about. It feels like we're finally moving away from the one-size-fits-all approach to finance towards something that actually feels, I don't know, more human.
And that same bank, dtcforce, helped. They saw customer satisfaction jump by 25% and a ton of new loan applications, all because of personalization.
So it's a win-win for both sides, the companies and the customers.
You got it. And honestly, that's just the tip of the iceberg. We're just beginning to see what AI and automation can really do for financial services.
This is all super exciting, but I got to ask, why is this all happening now? Why is this innovation so crucial? Couldn't they just, keep doing things the old way?
The thing is, the whole financial world is changing faster than ever. Cyber attacks are getting crazier, customers expect more, and the competition is fierce. If you don't embrace digital transformation, you're not just standing still, you're falling behind.
So it's not just about surviving, it's about thriving, right? Staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly. And the numbers prove it. Companies that go all in on digital transformation see their revenue grow 2.5 times faster than those who don't. It's pretty clear. This is the future of finance.
So where does dtcforce fit into all of this? They seem to be like the common thread in all these success stories.
We have this really unique approach with the DTC Plus subscription. Basically, it gives institutions unlimited access to Salesforce services, all for a fixed price.
So instead of paying for every little thing separately, they get the whole toolkit.
Exactly. It makes it so much easier to, actually use these powerful tools and get results. Streamlined processes, top-notch security, happier customers, all for a predictable cost.
All right, we've covered a ton of ground here, from the threats facing financial institutions to how AI and automation are shaking things up. So far, what's the big takeaway for our listeners?
I think the main message is that the future of finance is about change. It's about using technology to make things better for everyone.
I agree. And I think it's important to remember that this isn't going to happen overnight. It takes vision, partnerships, and the willingness to, challenge how things have always been done.
And that's exactly what DTC Force is all about. We're working side by side with financial institutions to navigate this, kind of crazy landscape and build a financial future that's more secure, more efficient, and more personalized for everyone.
We've talked about data breaches, AI detectives, mountains of paperwork, and even personalized banking. But there's so much more to explore. Join us in part 2 as we dive even deeper into the future of finance and all the amazing possibilities that are just around the corner. Welcome back to our deep dive. It's really wild to think about how much finance has changed even in just the last, 10, 15 years. It's like a whole different world.
It is. It's amazing. We've gone from waiting in line at the bank to, doing everything on our phones.
Yeah.
And AI, that's one of the most exciting things, making everything so personalized.
We talked about those personalized loan offers, but how else is AI making finance, more tailored to each person?
Okay, so imagine this. Your banking app, it not only tracks your spending, but it actually gives you personalized financial advice based on your situation.
So it's like having a financial advisor in your pocket, but without the big fees.
Exactly. These robo-advisors, they're powered by AI, and they're getting more and more popular. They can manage your investments, give you advice, all based on your risk tolerance and goals.
That's pretty cool. It makes, financial advice way more accessible. But what about the human advisors? Are they going to go extinct?
That's the big question, right? And AI is getting really smart, but I don't think it's about replacing humans. It's more like enhancing them.
So more of a team effort. Human expertise plus AI insights.
Yeah, that's it. AI is great at crunching numbers, finding patterns, making predictions. But humans, we bring empathy, understanding, the ability to build trust. That's still super important, especially with money.
It makes sense, right? I mean, we're still human. Money decisions, they're emotional. A machine can't really get that.
Exactly. Think of it as a partnership. AI handles the data heavy lifting, and the human advisors can focus on relationships, giving really personalized guidance, helping people navigate the feelings that come with financial decisions.
Sounds like a win-win for everyone. AI does the grunt work. Humans bring the human touch.
Right. And this collaboration, it's not just with advisors. It's happening everywhere in finance, from loans to fraud detection. Remember we talked about AI catching those suspicious transactions? Well, it can also help with like credit scoring and risk assessment.
Really? How so?
So the old credit scoring systems, they're all about your credit history, which, that can be tough for people who are new to credit or have had some bumps in the road. But AI can look at way more data, like even your social media or online shopping habits.
So it's not just about your past, but like your current situation and what you're doing now.
Yep. And that can be huge for people who, maybe got a bad score because of the old system. It's using data to make finance more fair, more inclusive.
That's really cool. It's great to see how AI can like level the playing field. But let's switch gears a bit. What about automation? That's another big piece of the puzzle,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, automation, the unsung hero of like getting things done. We touched on RPA before, but let's dig a little deeper.
Yeah, let's do it. How is automation actually changing, how these financial institutions work behind the scenes?
Okay, so picture this. All those repetitive tasks,
Mhm.
the stuff nobody likes doing, it's all handled by software robots. And the humans, they get to focus on the more strategic, creative stuff. That's RPA in a nutshell.
So it's not about replacing jobs, but more like changing them, making them better.
You got it. RPA can handle data entry,
Yeah.
reconciling accounts, even answering customer questions. And the humans, they can use their brains for the more complex stuff.
Makes sense. More efficiency, less burnout, happier customers. But what does this actually look like, in practice? What's it like to have a robot doing your work?
Okay, imagine you have a virtual assistant, right? And they can log into all these systems, pull out data, fill out spreadsheets, even make reports. That's basically an RPA bot. It follows a set of rules and just does all the stuff a human would normally do, but like way faster.
So it's like a digital workforce that never sleeps, never takes a break.
Exactly. And they're super accurate. RPA can process stuff, do tasks way faster and better than humans, less mistakes, way more efficient.
I can see how that would be huge, especially in finance, where, time is money, literally. But I'm curious, are there any like downsides to all this automation? Are we going to end up with robots taking all the jobs?
That's a good question, and it's definitely something to be aware of. The key is to use automation the right way to help humans, not replace them.
So it's about like finding the balance. Automation handles the boring stuff and humans can focus on, being creative, thinking critically and using those people skills.
Exactly. And remember, automation is just a tool, like a hammer or a computer. It's up to us, the humans, to use it wisely and responsibly.
Right. The technology itself isn't good or bad. It's all about how we use it. But it does seem like when it's done right, automation can totally change the way we work and live.
Totally agree. It's about creating a future where technology helps us do more, achieve more, and just live better.
We've talked about AI, automation, how they're changing the game in finance, but I want to go back to something you mentioned earlier, trust. How can these institutions build trust in, a world that's becoming more and more digital?
That's a great point, and it's something a lot of institutions are, really struggling with. Trust is like the foundation of any good financial relationship.
Totally. If you don't have trust, the whole system kind of falls apart. But how do you build trust when everything's online, through algorithms and automated systems?
It's tricky, right?
Hmm.
Especially with all the data breaches and hacks. To build trust in this digital age, you got to be transparent.
Yeah.
Customers need to know what's happening with their data, why it's being collected, and how it's being protected.
So no more hiding behind like confusing legal jargon, just clear, honest communication.
Exactly. And it's not just about talking the talk, right? They need to walk the walk. Strong security measures like, Salesforce Shield. That shows they're serious about protecting data.
So actions speak louder than words, especially when it comes to trust. What else can institutions do to earn that trust and keep it?
Accountability is huge. If something goes wrong, own up to it. Tell customers what happened and what they're doing to fix it.
They're like admitting mistakes and showing they actually care about making things right.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, it's about putting the customer first. It's not just about selling stuff. It's about helping people reach their financial goals.
So it's about being a trusted advisor, not just a company trying to make a buck.
That's it. It's about building those long-term relationships
Mm.
based on, respect and genuine care.
It sounds like building trust in this digital age is not just about the tech. It's about human values like honesty, taking responsibility, and empathy.
I agree. Technology can definitely help, but at the end of the day, it's about human connection.
Well said. This has been such a fascinating conversation. We've covered so much ground from the challenges facing these institutions to how AI and automation are changing everything. But there's still more to talk about, right?
Definitely. Join us for part 3 as we dive even deeper into the future of finance and all the exciting possibilities that are just around the corner.
Welcome back to the show. It's crazy, right? I mean, just a few years ago, we were all writing checks, standing in line at the bank. Now, it's all on our phones.
It's amazing how fast things change, and it doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. AI and automation, they're going to keep pushing things even further.
So what's next? What's coming down the pipeline in finance? What's got you most excited?
One thing that's really interesting is this idea of embedded finance.
Embedded finance. Okay, that sounds kind of cool. What is that exactly?
Imagine a world where, like, all these financial services are just woven into our everyday lives. Like, you don't even notice them.
Okay, now I'm picturing some sci-fi movie where money is just like this digital cloud and we don't even use like physical currency anymore. But how would that actually work?
So think about, let's say you're buying a car. With embedded finance, you could get your loan right there on the car company's website. No need to even talk to a bank.
Oh, so it's like the financing is just built in, super easy, no hassle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or like booking a flight. You click one button, boom, you've got travel insurance right there in the airline's app.
That would be amazing. No more like jumping through all those hoops, dealing with a million different companies.
It's all about making things smooth, simple for the customer.
I get it. That's definitely appealing. But where do AI and automation come in? How do they make all that happen?
They're like the behind-the-scenes magic. AI is crunching numbers, figuring out risk, personalizing those offers, and automating everything.
So even though it feels effortless to us, there's all this like complex tech working in the background.
Yeah, exactly. It's like having, I don't know, like a personal financial assistant who's always one step ahead, taking care of everything before you even think about it.
That's kind of cool. But are there any like downsides? I mean, is it risky to have everything so connected, so automated?
There's always risks.
Yeah.
Right. And security is like the number one thing. The more we rely on digital systems, the more vulnerable we are to, hackers and data breaches.
So it's even more important to have those strong security measures in place.
For sure. And it's not just about protecting data. It's about making sure the whole financial system is stable, that it can't be like easily disrupted.
Right, because if one part of the system goes down, the whole thing could like collapse.
Exactly. And we also have to think about, well, what happens to jobs as automation takes over more and more tasks?
Hmm.
We need to make sure people can adapt, learn new skills.
So it's not just about the technology itself, but how we as a society handle those changes, make sure everyone benefits.
Yep, that's key. And we can't forget about, keeping humans in control. We got to make sure this technology is being used ethically, responsibly.
Lots to think about. But it does sound like the benefits of embedded finance could be huge, especially for, making things more convenient, more accessible.
Definitely. It could totally change how people access financial services, especially those who, maybe don't have traditional bank accounts.
That's a great point. It's not just about making things easier for the people who are already like in the system. It's about bringing more people into the fold.
Exactly. And then there's also this whole like decentralized finance thing, DeFi. It's using blockchain technology to, make finance more transparent, more accessible.
DeFi, blockchain, I hear these terms all the time, but I'm not sure I totally get it. Can you break it down for us?
Imagine a world where you can do financial stuff like send money, borrow, invest directly with other people, no banks involved. That's DeFi, kind of. It's using blockchain to create this whole like parallel financial system.
So it's like cutting out the middleman, giving people more control over their own money.
Yeah, that's the idea. It could be huge, changing everything about how we think about money and finance.
That sounds like a pretty radical shift. I mean, it's hard to imagine a world without banks.
I don't think banks are going anywhere, at least not yet. But they definitely need to like adapt, find new ways to be relevant.
It's clear that, the future of finance, it's full of possibilities, but also a lot of unknowns.
Yeah, there's a lot of excitement, but also some uncertainty. But one thing's for sure, things are changing fast. And the people who embrace those changes, they're the ones who will be shaping the future.
So what's the main takeaway for our listeners? What's the one thing they should remember as we, head into this crazy new financial world?
Stay curious, stay informed, and stay engaged. Finance is evolving every day, and it's up to all of us to understand what's happening, ask the tough questions, and help build the future we want.
I love that. It's not about just sitting back and watching. It's about like rolling up our sleeves and getting involved.
Exactly. And if you want to, learn more about how to navigate all of this, we're leading the way, helping institutions adapt and creating a better financial world for everyone.
This has been an amazing journey, exploring AI, automation, and the future of finance. We've learned so much, but there's always more to discover, right?
That's the best part. Finance is always changing, always evolving. There's always something new to learn, something new to explore.
And that's a wrap on our deep dive into the future of finance. We hope you've enjoyed the ride and maybe feel a little bit inspired to, embrace all the possibilities out there. Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.